Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you for checking out this video, which is your first djembe lesson. I'm going to give you everything you need to get going on this beautiful drum, the djembe. We're going to go through the foundations of technique. I'm going to give you the three main sounds that you need to get going on the djembe. Then I'm going to give you three really groovy patterns, some really groovy grooves that you can incorporate into your practice, particularly if you are a beginner starting out on this instrument, the djembe. I'm Ruairi, I'm a percussionist. I have a YouTube channel here. I have tutorials, documentaries all around rhythm, all around music, all around percussion. You can check them out some other time because now we are getting into the djembe. Let's go. So the first thing with the djembe that's really important is to make sure that we position the drum correctly in relation to us, our body. Of course, we want to feel like the drum is connected to us, but unfortunately it's not. It is an object that we have to make feel as comfortable as we possibly can. So there's lots of different sizes of djembe. This is quite a large one. So it's resting on the floor, and I'm just going to tilt the djembe slightly away from me, and I'm going to bring my knees in towards the drum. So if I move my knees, the drum will fall back flat. So by tilting the drum, it's going to really help the position in which I strike it, and also it's going to affect the sound. If we look underneath the djembe, we've got this hole here. So much of the sound comes out through this hole underneath the drum, so we need to make sure that it is at an angle on the floor so that the sound can come out, resonate. That's how we're going to get that beautiful, warm, earthy bass sound from the djembe. If you have a smaller drum, you might need to bring it up higher and clamp it in between your knees. So this is obviously a very large drum. I don't need to do that. But you can see that I'm holding it in between my legs so that I can get that nice playing position. There are three main sounds that we're going to go through in this first djembe tutorial. The first sound is what I call the bass sound, and it's the lowest sound on the djembe. To get this sound, we flop our hand into the middle of the drum, and we draw it back to about 1/3 of the way out from the center of the drum. So a lot of the time I see people playing the bass sound right in the middle of the drum. Actually, we need to be a little further towards the edge to get the most resonance, to get the most earthy sound from the drum. Now from here, we're just going to lift our hand back and move from both the elbow and a little bit from the wrist as well, just creating a bouncing motion. I want to say it's like bouncing a basketball, but it's even less energy than that. It's just a very, very soft bounce. The moment of contact, when the hand touches the skin of the drum, is a millisecond or a fraction of a second. It's really a very, very short moment. And of course in the left hand as well. So a really nice exercise to start off is just to do 3 in each hand. So we can go right hand, take a breath, left hand, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. You'll notice that I'm saying take a breath in the break. Of course, when we breathe, when we're playing a rhythmical instrument, the rhythm flows. When the breath flows, the rhythm flows as well. So make sure when you're playing, you're breathing, you're relaxing the shoulders, you're sitting up tall, you're anchoring into your stool, your chair, you're anchoring into the ground. And go 1, 2, 3, take a breath. 1, 2, 3, take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. So that is the first sound that I want you to spend a bit of time with, just practicing that bass sound. And you can even get a little piece of music and just play bass. You can just play some bass tones along to the music, just marking the pulse of the music. If you're not sure about pulse and rhythm and how they connect together, you can check out this video over here where I give a kind of overview of pulse and rhythm and how we can develop our inner sense of pulse and inner sense of rhythm. So that is our bass sound. The next sound is what I call the tone sound. From here, we're just going to take our right hand, we're going to flop it right down into the drum, and we're going to draw our hand back until our knuckles are resting over the rim or the shell of the drum. So our knuckles are just resting on the shell of the drum here. And from here, we're just going to draw the hand back, and we're going to just create the same movement, that very soft bouncing motion that we had with the bass sound. But the position of the hand is different. The knuckles don't want to be banging on the rim of the drum, because then we just get the sound of the shell of the drum. I guess that could be cool too. We can add that in maybe later. But for now, we want to think about the pads of the fingers connecting to the skin of the drum. Now, some people like to play with the fingers closely together when they're playing a tone sound. For me, I like a little bit of space. I like it to feel as relaxed and as free as possible. So there's a little bit of space between the fingers when I'm playing this tone sound. You experiment with both fingers together, fingers apart. See which gives you the best sound on your instrument when you're playing. Another really nice way to think about the positioning for this tonal sound is to make a triangle between the thumbs and the pointing fingers, like this. And just see how that draws down onto the drum. You don't want your fingers together whilst you're playing, but that kind of idea of the tips of the fingers drawing in towards the drum whilst you're playing. So we can get that tonal hand going, right hand followed by left hand. And just play around with that tonal sound, of course in contrast with the bass sound. This is a great little technical exercise to get your hands moving, get moving with the pulse of the music, and to get familiar with those first two sounds on your djembe. Now, the next sound that we're going to have a look at is what I call the slap sound. And this is the highest pitch sound. If our bass sound is the lowest, our tone is the medium sound, then our slap is the highest sound. And the slap sounds like this. The motion is very similar to the tone sound, but we're drawing the wrist back, stretching the fingers, and we're flicking almost a little bit like we're swatting the djembe. So we get this kind of edgier, higher, icier sound. I quite like to relax my fingers for this one as well. Some people again like to have their fingers very close together. Personally, I quite like it feels very natural for me for my fingers to stretch and separate a little bit. Listen to the slap sound in contrast to the tone sound. Tone sound first. Slap. So it's edgier, icier, higher pitched sound. We can use the slap sound as kind of an accent or an emphasis within a groove. And that really leads us very nicely to our first groove that we're going to have a look at. This first groove is going to be a really good beat to get you going with a piece of music with 4 regular beats that go round and round. 1, 2, 3, 4. So much music, certainly in pop, rock and elsewhere, has 4 steady beats. Certainly in the West, most music has 4 steady beats that go round and round. So the first groove sounds like this. Don't worry, we're going to slow it right down and I'm going to walk you through this groove from the very beginning. So as I said, it's got 4 steady beats. On each of those 4 beats, we have 4 sounds. 4 sounds. Right, left, right, left. So, on the first beat, we're going to play bass, followed by 3 tones. So it'll go bass, tone, tone, tone. And the hands, right, left, right, left. Okay, so that's our first beat. That's the first beat. You can get that going round and round a few times, get comfortable, get that flowing. In fact, you could just take that and practice that on its own with some music and get comfortable with that first part of the pattern. The second beat of the pattern will go slap, tone, 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 right, left, right, left. And the third beat will be the same as the first beat, bass, tone, tone, tone. The fourth beat being the same as the second beat, slap, tone, tone, tone. So you'll notice that the third and fourth beats are exactly the same as the first and second beats. Okay, so all together. So this is the first groove. We're going to get this going with some music, nice and steady first. Ready, steady, ready, steady, off we go. Now the next groove that we're going to have a look at is absolutely one of my favorites because it incorporates syncopation. As percussionists, we love syncopation. Syncopation is just where we begin to play either off the beat or across the beat. So whilst that first groove that we looked at is really marking out the steady 4 beats in the pattern, this next groove is going to start to push and pull at those 4 steady beats and create a syncopated groove. Now this sometimes referred to as tresillo pattern, the grouping of 3, 3 and 2. It sounds like this, have a listen. Now up to speed. In contrast to our first groove, here's our first groove, second. You start to see and feel how they fit together, but the second one is starting to push and pull, dance a little bit on those 4 steady beats, underpinning the whole foundation of the music. So this groove, it's all hand to hand, so one hand playing after the others, no double rights, no double lefts. And the vocalization that I like to use for this tresillo style pattern is galloping, galloping, coffee. Galloping, of course, being 3-syllable word. Galloping, galloping, coffee, coffee, 2 syllables. So if we think about that in relation to just playing that on the djembe tone sounds, galloping, galloping, coffee, you'll see that all in all there are 8 syllables, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it fits with the 4 beats, even though it feels like there are 3 main pushes within the groove. So for the first galloping, we're going to do bass, tone, tone, right, left, right. Okay, that's our first galloping. The second is tone, 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 with a bit of an accent on the first tone. You could even throw a slap in there if you want, but I like to keep that just as a little bit more of a present, accented tone sound. So the first galloping will go galloping, second galloping, and then the coffee at the end, right, left, with a slap tone. Coffee at the end. So galloping, galloping, coffee. Galloping, galloping, coffee. There's something about saying the words that really helps us to embody the feeling of the groove so that when we go to play it, it just seems to happen. Certainly that's how it works for me. When you can say it, you can play it. Try it, let me know in the comments if it works, okay? Also a really good idea as well If you can't get to your djembe, you can't get to your instrument, just practice with your hands. Think about the shapes, get the movement. You know, percussion and drumming is a really kinetic activity. So take a bit of time to get into the hands, vocalize the movement, move your feet whilst you're walking, whilst you're standing, whilst you're listening to music. You don't always have to be at your instrument to practice. Another little top tip for you as you're going on this journey with the djembe. Now, like with our first pattern, we're going to get this going with some real music to bring it to life. So this is our second groove. So play along with me. Are you ready? Are you steady? 1, 2, off we go. So that leads us to our third pattern, which is a very iconic groove. It's my own take on this one. It's called the passport rhythm. This is taught a lot in drum circles because passport is a great groove that fits with almost any pattern. We hear it a lot in Northwest African music. It sounds like this. And my own take on this one incorporates the bass sound. I love this one. This one just makes me want to shake my shoulders, move my feet, and I think you'll like it too. All right, so this one we've got to get our choreography in our hands first. So it'll go right, left, right, right, left. So let's have a think about that one. Right, left, right, right, left. We've got that double right, okay? And we're going to start with our right hand in the bass position, our left hand in the tonal position, okay? So it's going to go right, left, right, bass, tone bass, right, left, right, followed by 2 slaps, right, left. And you'll notice that our right hand is doing exactly what we did at the beginning of the video, just bouncing softly, bouncing gently to the beat. Yeah, so we're back in a way to where we began, as so often we are with drumming. It is, after all, one big circle. Every drum, every frame drum. We always go around the whole world. There's always the pulse at the foundation at everything that we do. So that's a really important one, to hook onto the pulse. I think we can play those slaps out. A little bit more presence on those slaps, Ruairi. So now we're going to get our passport rhythm going along with the music. I do hope you're playing along with me at home and enjoying these little tracks. Here we go, are you ready? Steady, off we go. Thank you so much for checking out this video, your first lesson on the djembe. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, you might consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Do check out my next video in this series, How to Play Djembe, which is linked right over here. Bye guys.